Skip Norfolk is mic'd.
Tell him to look out for those big bumps for the whoop-de-doo section. There's a few big ones in there, and if you can hop over those, you can keep that bike pretty flat. Jeremy going through his usual routine. He kind of claps.
Hey, you got Honda Troy beside you. You got Team Yamaha down from them, and you know who's sitting on your right. Okay, you know where you got to be when the gate drops. Forget about the heat race. You need a whole shot, 4 laps of your race, and then you'll be out front. You can do whatever you want then. All right? Hammer on these guys. 20 laps this time.
Boy, that's great.
Hey, I love listening in. It's such good advice. And even if Jeremy already knows that, it's still good to hear it again. Just get that anchored in there. Trying to keep his arms loose. He said he got a little nervous.
And you got your spot. Nobody's expecting anything to happen in that corner. You can make it happen there if it's necessary.
So you know that they've planned a spot on the track that he hasn't shown yet.
Well, we could assume that it's that corner where he passed Lawrence. That's a key corner. I think we're going to see a lot of passing there. You see the intensity on Jeremy's face. Skip's got good advice.
He was talking about Jeff Emig, of course, to his right. McGrath, Henry, Lawrence, Swink, Craig, Lusk, Ward, LaRocco, Bradshaw. They're all there getting set for the second to the last Supercross of the year. Can Jeremy McGrath win them all? This might be the big one. 30-second board is up. When it goes sideways, they have from 5 to 10 seconds before the gate will drop to get this one underway.
I've been pretty impressed with Emig. I've said that already. Larry Ward and Ezra Lusk also riding extremely fast tonight, but I agree with Skip. If Jeremy can get out to a good start, put in 4 good laps, he may end up with a big lead like we've seen all year long. At that point, he can ride more relaxed, make less mistakes.
Well, if he doesn't get out in front, of course, there's going to be the bar banging, because that's the only way you can get around these corners. And there's plenty of riders out there that are willing to do it. So we're set. They're revving up. The gate will drop any second. Now it's gone.
Jeremy gets a terrible jump out of the gate.
Emig, good jump. Lusk, a good jump. McGrath is about in 10th position right now, but then he shoots by 4 riders right before the next turn. Emig is our leader. LaRocco got a good start. There's Phil Lawrence, 13. Number 34 is Ezra Lusk. Then it's LaRocco. Then Jeremy McGrath is already in 5th position.
And look how smart Jeremy is. Up the inside to the whoops, already around LaRocco. He's in, what, 4th, maybe 5th? I can't believe what this guy can do amongst so much traffic.
Now it'll spread out a little bit. He's got Ezra Lusk right in front of him.
Look what he did right there. Instead of just clearing that double jump, he jumped completely past it, trying to maintain more momentum. Little mistake right there. He was lucky not to get tangled with Lusk, but he's got some fast guys ahead of him. LaRocco won his semi. He's already around.
Sharp elbow that time on Lusk.
Yeah, he gave it to Lusk. Lusk kept it up on 2 wheels.
It's Emig out in front with Phil Lawrence out in front. Lawrence, don't forget, led Jeremy McGrath through the entire qualifying heat except for the last lap, the last turn. Emig, Lawrence, LaRocco, and then Jeremy McGrath, Ezra Lusk, Michael Craig, and Jimmy Button. Here is the Suzuki Field summary.
McGrath's going to have to fight for this. LaRocco is not going to be easy to pass, I don't have a feeling. We already saw how much trouble Jeremy had in the heat race, trying to find a way around Lawrence, trying to find his rhythm. Said he didn't get to take the lines he wanted to take. That could happen again, and meanwhile, Emig is still out front.
Jeremy McGrath has been in this position before at different tracks with 3 riders in front of him. But he's always been able to get the break, the right move at the right time. LaRocco just won't let him take it.
Now LaRocco stayed tight right there, and although McGrath kind of blew it all through that section, he's still right there. The guy is just endless pressure and eventually wears on you.
Now the big question is, can Emig draw a big enough lead with Lawrence in between?
Oh, I think so, but yeah, I don't know if any lead's big enough with Jeremy McGrath on the same race, but
Oh, we've got a great one on our hands. Could this be the moment that Jeremy McGrath's tremendous win string of 13 in a row is broken?
Look at Lusk down the inside of the whoop section. He was pretty quick through there. He's trying to stay out of those ruts. And it's on the inside. So if he can stay close enough to Jeremy, which he has been doing, on the next lap, he could make a pass on one of these 2 guys there.
57.5 for Emig on the lap.
pretty quick. It was a minute for the 125 class, so they've picked it up some. That he was running 57 lap times all through the heat race. Now Albertine is out of the race, still on the track, but out of contention.
5-second lead as far as Emig and McGrath are concerned, but they've got LaRocco and Lawrence in between them.
Well, Emig's been there before. He's had the lead. And a few guys between himself and Jeremy, like the situation we see right now, but he's always made a mistake, and I think this time may be different.
Jeremy McGrath can't get the block pass on LaRocco. LaRocco with good acceleration out of that corner.
And he's forcing Jeremy to push himself a little bit harder in certain places on the racetrack, taking him out of his rhythm, and he's starting to make little mistakes that let Lusk almost get by him to the whoops right there. So Jeremy's got to settle down. He's got a long ways to go.
He's still 4 seconds behind the leader.
There's so much pressure on this kid to try to win every single race, and I think now there's only 2 more, and with the absence of Hughes and Huckman, he knows it should be just a little bit easier, and you know, he may be thinking about that a little bit too much right now. I know once he settles down, he can go faster than anyone else.
Brian Swink hitting the dirt right there.
Looks
McGrath
like
honestly thinking that the streak was going to come to an end back in the wind and rain of Charlotte. But then he came back with great poise and had very few problems. But he got the great start.
Right. Emig still is maintaining this about the same lap times, 57.5 seconds again. And McGrath still not any closer to LaRocco, and Lusk is still within striking distance.
Emig has pulled a second on McGrath as far as the lead back to fourth.
Now, meanwhile, we've been talking about all these guys. One guy that I'm really impressed with is Phil Lawrence, because he has closed in the battle just ahead of these guys on Emig. He's putting pressure on Emig for the lead of this race.
Lawrence, of course, the top privateer in the last National Outdoors. Getting some extra money for that. It's not easy being a privateer in this business.
No, it's definitely not. I mean, he's got a good team behind him, but I've talked to him. I flew home with him after one of the rounds. I forget now. I think Pontiac. And he talked about the fact that his bike was pretty much stock. And he goes out riding with Emig, and I mean, not Emig, but McGrath and Hughes. Sometimes I go, hey, did you ever ride one of those guys' bikes out practicing? He said, I didn't want to. He didn't want to know how much better their bikes were because he'd have to go back and ride his.
Well, gentlemen, we haven't seen much of this race yet. There is a lot more to come as Jeff Emig on top, Lawrence, LaRocco, McGrath, and Lusk. And we'll be back with the finish, the conclusion of the 250 main event after this. Here is our leader in the 250 main event from St. Louis. It is Jeff Emig, number 2, but Phil Lawrence of Great Western, an independent team, is really putting the heat on. Then it's LaRocco and Jeremy McGrath with Ezra Lusk behind him.
I'm so impressed with Lawrence right now because I can guarantee you that the bike Emig is riding is much more superior.